Hello and welcome to Leeroy Gaming, where we are continuing our deep dive of classes and subclasses for Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Now, today we will be looking at clerics and druids. Now, important note, as the clerics and druids, you're going to be choosing deities and domains, which are quite extensive. What's going to happen is in this initial deep dive, we're going to be talking at overall feats. I want to mention a little bit about deities and domains, but I will also be posting, hopefully the same day, a separate video specific to deities and domains. And that will be linked in that first video as well once they are both up. And in that specific video, I will go over every deity, go over all the descriptive text, all the features. I will also go over every single domain and everything it says about them, I will cover. This way, it's a little bit more manageable for everybody. And those that want that extra deep dive to the core, you'll have that supportive video. But again, for now, let's jump on in. I will be having timestamps as always in the description below. If you have any recommendations or questions, leave them in the comments. And again, if you're loving what I do, if you want to support my little channel, like, subscribe, and if you like this series, make sure that you add that, smack that notification bell, because there's going to be a lot of content coming out, so you don't miss it because of all the lovely YouTube algorithms. Smack that notification bell. Will help you, and as you probably know or may or may not know, definitely helps get exposure for my channel, so I would greatly appreciate it. With that all being said, let's begin. So we are going to start with the base cleric, okay? So more than capable of upholding the honor of their deities in battle, clerics often prove stalwart and capable combatants. Their true strength lies in their capability to draw upon the power of their deities, whether to increase their own and their allies' prowess in battle, to vex their foes with divine magic, or to lend healing to companions in need. As their powers are influenced by their faith, all clerics must focus their worship upon a divine source. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the base cleric here. So you're going to have a deity selection. We're going to take a look at that, and that will impact your spells and other elements. So just as an example, I'm going to go ahead and select one. Let me see here. Gnome. I'm going to just pick Abadar as a quick example. Oops. All right. And so I'll go ahead and mention this. You're going to also pick whether you're going to channel positive or negative energy. Now, the reason I'm getting the choice is if you're dealing with a god, or if you have an alignment that is neutral. Neutral clerics get to choose whether they channel negative or positive energy. If you're an evil cleric, so any of the evil alignments, you are forced to channel negative energy. If you're any of the good alignments, you're going to channel positive energy. So here are the difference in the descriptors. So let's say, starting with channel negative energy, an evil cleric or one that worships an evil deity channels negative energy and can choose to deal damage to living creatures or to heal undead creatures. This is an ability that is an AoE kind of pulse, 30-foot radius centered on the cleric. Amount of damage dealt or healed for every 2 cleric levels beyond first. So like 2d6 at third, 3d6 at fifth, and so on. Creatures that take damage from channeled energy receive a will save to half the damage. The DC of the saving is equal to 10 plus 1/2 of your cleric level, plus the cleric's charisma modifier. Creatures healed by channel energy cannot exceed their maximum hit points total, or excess healing is lost. A cleric may channel energy a number of times per day equal to 3 plus charisma modifier. Do note that there are feats that will let you channel negative or positive energy more times. So that is an option. Now this is a standard action that does not provoke an attack of opportunity. And a cleric can choose whether or not to include herself in this effect. That is important, mainly, let's say if you become undead, where you could be, damaged by channel negative energy, you could, for example, or positive energy, you could choose not to be impacted by it, I assume. And then it talks about an evil cleric, neutral cleric can also channel stored spell energy into wounding spells that she did not prepare ahead of time. The cleric can lose any prepared spell that is not an orison or domain spell in order to cast any inflict spell of the same level, while the positive energy does a similar element, special ability, except the cleric can lose any prepared spell that is not an Orion or domain spell in order to cast any cure spell of the same level or lower. So, cure light wounds, cure moderate wounds, etc., etc. Okay. So those are the channels. So we're just going to choose channel positive energy as an example. Now we're going to, again, in a separate video, if you take a look, this is a giant list of domains. A lot of them. So we're going to have a separate video for this. For now, again, each deity will only have 3 to 5 generally options. So I'm just going to, as an example, choose the earth domain. And here as an example, what does it impact? Well, it impacts everything. So earth domain, for example. You have a mastery over earth, metal, and stone, can fire darts of acid and command earth creatures. So acid dart, as a standard action, you can unleash an acid dart targeting any foe within 30 feet, range touch attack. This acid dart deals 1d6 point of acid damage plus 1 point for every 2 levels you possess in the class that gave you access to this domain. You can use this ability any number of times per day equal to 3 plus wisdom modifier. You also, by having the earth domain, gain acid resistance. So at 6th level, it's acid 10. So that means the first 10 points of acid damage you would take, it's negated. And increases to 20 at level 12. And at 20th level, you become immune to acid. And in this case, it gains you the domain spells: Stone Fist, Acid Arrow, Soothing Mud, Spike Stone, Acidic Spray, Stone Skin, Elemental Bodies 4, Earth, Hard Wilting, and Elemental Swarm Earth. Now you'll notice when you select spells, as you level up, there will be a separate little box that is got a different color, and you can only put domain spells in there when you memorize what spells you're going to have for the next day. So that's the place for those in particular. And you cannot put other non-domain spells into those slots. So that's, for example, the first one. When you choose a basic cleric, non-specialized or anything like that. And let's say we choose law domain as the second one. Let's see what law gives you. And again, notice here there are alignment requirements. You have to be lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil, for example. So, law domain, as an example, you follow a strict and order code of law, and in so doing achieve enlightenment. You get touch of law. You'll notice that every one of these domains has some special ability in addition or two, in addition to giving you specific domain spells. So in this case, touch of law can touch a willing creature as a standard action, infusing it to the power of divine order and allowing it to treat all attack rolls, skill checks, ability checks, and saving throws for 1 round as if natural d20 roll resulted in an 11. You can use this ability a number of times per day equal to 3 plus your wisdom modifier. You also get access to Staff of Order at 8th level. You can give a weapon you touch the axiomatic special weapon quality for a number of rounds equal to 1/2 of your level in a class that gave you access to this domain. You can use the ability once per day at 8th and an additional time per day for every 4 levels beyond 8th, so 12th, 16th, 20th. And the domain spells you will gain access to as you level access to when you level up: Protect from Chaos, Communal, so basically AoE for the whole group, Prayer, Protection from Energy, Communal, Dominate Person, Blade Barrier, Dictum, Shield of Law, and Dominate Monster. So, as you kind of see, when we first selected Natural Cleric, it looked kind of bare bones, like there's not a lot of features, but there are. And obviously a lot of it has to do with the spells, and until you pick your domains, you don't see it. So here's, for example, you're going to have the information about the Abadar. You also get a favored weapon, Light Crossbow of Abadar. So Abadar, the god of cities, law, merchants, and wealth, also called the god of walls and ditches, Eastern Dragon Empire, is known to be a patient deity, maintaining a strong neutral stance in his actions. sets forth to expand civilization and order among the peoples of Golarion. You get your Earth domain, as we discussed. Law domain in this case. Cleric proficiency, so all simple weapons, light armor, medium armor, and shields, except tower shields. Clerics are also proficient with the favored weapon of their deity. Now do note, if you're thinking that clerics are more like priests from like games like World of Warcraft or something, they're not. They're not like cloth-wearing, well, most of them are not like cloth-wearing pushovers. These are heavily armored, or at least moderately armored, shielded warriors. They can fight on the front line. I mean, I wouldn't do it on super high difficulty, but, you know, they are quite stout. So you got that. You got Detect Magic, aura of active spells or artifacts, or those that were active recently, can identify the school of magic to which the spell belongs, used in dialogues as well. And here is kind of the progression as we noted, your acid resistance, progression, and immunity. You get your law domain and the staff of order as we mentioned, as well as channel positive energy. So that is the basic cleric. And again, progression wise, you were to pick your stats, skills, get your feats, and background, everything else pretty standard. So now let's go ahead and go back and look at the subclasses. So the very first subclass are Angelfire Apostles. So you can't, basically, you'll notice here, there'll be prerequisites. You basically can't be atheist or have the random faithless. Again, I believe this is basically saying there may be some NPCs, or not necessarily NPCs, but companions that may have this, because obviously you can choose to have a faith in, at will, but you obviously have to believe in a god of some sort. So Angelfire Apostles use the powers of good to avoid violence when possible and cleanse both maladies and evil creatures with blinding flames. So we're going to have the deity selection yet again and the relative domain. It looks like in comparison you're only going to get one domain is what I'm seeing here. You're going to get Detect Magic. You're going to have Armor Proficiency. So this is interesting. These Apostles are only proficient with light armor. So they do not have medium armor. Diminished spellcasting. Angelfire Apostle is less concerned the traditional divine magic that many religious adherents receive. The Angelfire Apostles receive one fewer spell slot at each spell level. When an Angelfire Apostle gets no spells per day at a spell level, it can cast domain spells of that level normally, but can only cast non-domain spells of that level if he gets them as bonus spells. So there's some limitations on the casting. Extra channeling. You can channel energy 2 additional times per day. So more focus on that channeling. And again, this is a feat that you get, and I believe you can receive this feat numerous times. And it defaults to channel positive energy. Now, you get these additional features right here, because obviously you may say, wow, losing those spell slots is a big deal. Losing one extra domain is a big deal. Yes, it is, but here's what you get. At 5th level, Cleansing Flames. Or rather, even though it says at 9th level, the Angelfire Apostle, I don't know if that's a typo, misplaced, or what, but let's keep reading. Angelfire Apostle becomes a direct conduit for the righteous power of his deity. Whenever the Angelfire Apostle casts a spell for 1 round, he can unleash a blast of flames as a swift action by expanding 1 use of his channel energy ability. Normally, these features, by the way, in the game, you like right-click on it, and it'll be kind of active, and so the next time you proc this, meaning when you cast a spell, it's going to automatically utilize this feature. That's how in the game the other kind of options like this have seemed to work. The flames deal 1d4 points of damage per spell level of the highest level spell he can cast to all enemies in 20 feet radius. Notice it doesn't say of what spell he is casting. So if you can cast like a 6th or 7th level spell, even when you are, according to this writing, even though you're, let's say you're casting level 1 spell, you're going to, let's say if your max level spells of 6 is going to be 6d4 instead of the 1d4. So that's important. And he can cast it to all enemies in a 20-foot radius, which isn't bad. Half of the damage is fire damage, and half is raw divine power, not subject to fire resistance or immunity. So half of it is super badass mode. The other half, it is fire damage, which is the most common damage generally in Pathfinder. So there's a higher than average chance an enemy might have resistance to it, but still not bad. Any creature in the area can half the damage of a successful reflex save based off DC 10 plus half Angelfire Apostle level plus Charisma modifier. So again, they're going to want high, if you're going to be doing these impacts, you're going to want to have high Wisdom and high Charisma. You also get Versatile Healing Channel. At 5th level, the Angelfire Apostle can spend 2 uses of his channel energy ability to cast Remove Blindness or Lesser Restoration as a spell-like ability. And then it upgrades, so at 7th level, you can also remove disease or remove paralysis. Then you can choose a level 9 Neutralize Poison. At 11th, you get the option of Breath of Life. 13th level, you can choose Heal. 17th level, Restoration. And 19th level, Resurrection. Now, okay, so here it's basically just noting that at 7th that you get to remove disease and paralysis. Neutralize Poison, that's the 9th. Breath of Life at 11. Heal, Restoration, and Resurrection. So really, as a synopsis, more focused on channeling and versatility, what you can do with your channeling at the expense of having an extra domain, and you have less general spells to cast, and also you can't wear the heavier armor naturally. So that is the Angelfire Apostle. Next, we're going to look at Crusader. Crusaders serve the militant arm of a church, ready to stand guard over the religion's holy places and to be swift, avenging arms against those who resist its truth. So, let's look at the differences here. 1 deity, 1 domain, cleric proficiencies, all simple weapons, light armor, medium, and shields outside of tower shields. That's normal. Normal detect magic. You're going to get channel energy. And the difference here is you're going to get Crusader bonus feat. So a Crusader gains a bonus feat at 1st level, and then it's going to repeat at 5th, 10th, 15th, and 20th, it looks like. These bonuses feats must be chosen from the following list. Heavy armor proficiency, shield bash, martial weapon proficiency, saving shield, shield focus, tower shield proficiency, and weapon focus. At 10th level, it adds greater weapon focus, improved critical, and weapon specialization. Finally, at 20th, you can also choose greater weapon specialization. And a Crusader need not meet the normal class or level-based prerequisites for these bonus feats. That's big. So, for example, certain combat feats, if they need like Intelligence 13, but you don't have Intelligence 13, you're fine. So, this is a militarized cleric. So, Crusader, very, very appropriate. Not quite a paladin, because some people think, aren't paladins just kind of like militarized clerics? Obviously here they're going to have not as much martial prowess, not the same BAB progression, but they're going to have way more spells options than paladins. Alright, Devilbane Priest. So Devilbane Priests, crusade-minded clerics train intensively to learn proper battlefield tactics, take advantage of the weaknesses of demons. And again, because we are dealing with demons, for example, in this version of the game, this might be good. Now, I find it interesting that the name is Devilbane, yet the descriptor is demons. Devils and demons are not the same. For those of you that don't know, demons tend to be chaotic in nature, so chaotic evil. Devils do not get along with demons. Devils are lawful evil. So, interesting. I don't know which one is the typo, or if they just mean this impacts devils and demons. So, nevertheless, let's take a look. So again, you're going to get to choose a deity, and here, because one hasn't been chosen, Do note that it would populate normally those special abilities, so don't think this is this bare. Just like with the Crusader and Angelfire Apostle, you will get those special perks related to each of those domains, but it will change depending on your deity and your domains. So again, do check out that separate video on deities and domains that will be posted soon. So you get your domain selection, normal clerical proficiencies, normal detect magic. Now you still get channel energy as normal. Unlike the other options, you innately get armor proficiency, heavy armor. You also get diminished spellcasting, so Devilbane Priest choose only one domain as listed, as not mentioned. And demonic knowledge is added. When making knowledge arcana checks, which interestingly is intelligence based, Devilbane Priest gain a bonus under check equal to half his class level, +1 minimum. So that's a pretty big deal. So even if you don't have the greatest intelligence modifier, you know, at level 10, you're going to have a +5 to that check and so forth. And you also get teamwork feats. So you get 2 of them at 4th and an 8th. This must be a teamwork feat, spell penetration, or greater spell penetration. First must meet the prerequisites. So the spell penetration, greater spell penetration, just makes your spells more effective. It's harder for individuals to resist your spells. Now, teamwork feats, as a quick tutorial, they are generally feats that you and another individual need to have. And they may improve flanking or other areas. So if you have it, but nobody else has it, it's useless. But they can be quite powerful, and they have a variety of ways to modify how you fight. Again, kind of makes sense based off the descriptor. They're tactical, strategic, again, very combat focused, similar to Crusaders, but innately even more heavily armored than the Crusaders. All right, next. Oh man, this is tongue twister. Ecclesitheurge? Probably butchered that. So, eschewing physical armor for protection via the strength of his faith, the Ecclesitheurge focuses on the miracles his deity bestows in the breadth of the deity's domain. So this is that example, as I mentioned. Not all clerics are heavily armored. Some are just like, God will protect me. And so this might be closer to like a priest from World of Warcraft, for example, if you want to use that example. Deity selection doesn't change. Domain selection, so a divine caster deity influences their alignment, which, is this any difference or is this just worded? Let me see here. So this just, just mainly says you still get 2 domains. So you get 1 deity, 2 domains. A lot of these other ones you notice are down to 1, so you're back to having 2 domain options, just like the base cleric. You still get detect magic. You still get channel energy. You get blessing of the faithful. So as a standard action, the Ecclesitheurge can bless one ally within close range, 30 feet. 30 feet isn't that close range. It's not bad, actually. Blessed ally gains +2 sacred bonus on attack rolls. Now, sacred bonus is pretty rare. So, do note, different forms of bonuses stack. So you can get one just from like a stat bonus. You can get, morale bonuses to attack, sacred bonus, alchemic, different ones. As long as the descriptor is different, they will stack. The only thing this won't stack with is if you have another sacred bonus. In that case, just whichever is the highest gets chosen. This also impacts skill checks, ability checks, saving throws, and AC until the Ecclesitheurge's next turn. So just for 1 turn. The Ecclesitheurge can spend 1 use of channel energy when activating this ability to increase the duration to a number of rounds equal to the number of dice of its channel energy. So what does this mean? Going back to look at your channel energy, notice here, let me see if it, yeah, there it is. So for example, if you were to do this right off the bat at level 1 you only have 1d6, so that's 1 die worth. So using that channel energy will increase it from 1 round to 2 rounds. But for example, as you level up, like at level 5, it's 3d6. And, that means at level 7, it'd be 4d6. So let's just use the example 5th level of 3d6. If you use this ability and power it up, you're going to basically, instead of it having, for the use of 1 channel energy, instead of this lasting for 1 round, which is 6 seconds, it's going to instead lasts for 1+3, so 4 rounds. That's much more significant, and obviously the higher level you get, the better deal this is, and it's not an insignificant bonus. So very good at higher levels, less significant at lower levels. You get Ecclesitheurge's proficiencies with clubs, daggers, heavy crossbow, light crossbow, quarterstaff, and a favored weapon of the deity, not proficient of any armor or shield. So much more limited. And it is important to note, speaking of deity's favored weapons, no matter what anything else says, generally speaking, you automatically get proficiency of the deity's favored weapon, to my understanding. If I'm wrong on that, please make a comment below, but I'm pretty sure that is the case, and this just kind of, spells it out. And domain mastery, so at first level, when Ecclesitheurge chooses his cleric domains, he designates one as his primary and the other as secondary. An Ecclesitheurge can use his non-domain spell slots to prepare spells from his primary domain spell list. Each day, when he prepares spells, the Ecclesitheurge can select a different domain granted by his deity to gain access to the domain spell list instead of his secondary domain spell list. He does not lose access to his actual secondary domain granted powers or gain access to other domains' granted powers. So, gives you a little bit more control and access to your primary domain. Wording's a little weird, but if you just look at it and read it over, it should make sense, hopefully. And then you do get a level 3 bonded holy symbol. A bonded object can be used once a day to restore any one spell that the Ecclesitheurge had prepared for that day. And that's key because at higher levels, you can just have it use this on your highest level ability. It doesn't have any limit. So not going to be that great, using it on a cure light wounds, but when you're looking at you get to use a resurrection an extra time or something, that could be much more significant. All right, that's that one, and now we will look at the final subclass, the Herald Caller. So this one is kind of unique compared to everything else. So unlike Crusaders or Paladins, who charge headlong into battle in the name of their patron deities, Herald Callers are adept at calling powerful outsiders to aid their brethren in battle. This is the Summoner Cleric. It's like the anti-necromancer. So you're just, instead of raising the dead, you are summoning stuff from the heavens. I played this in Pathfinder Kingmaker and really liked it. So let's take a look at the differences. You get your deity selection as normal, and your domain selection. You only get one domain. Detect magic. You are going to get dedicated summoner. A Herald Caller depends on summoned allies to overcome her foes, which affords her little experience, the martial pursuits typical of other clerics, and a narrower spiritual focus. A Herald Caller can choose only one domain from her deity's list of domains, rather than a normal 2 domains, and she doesn't gain proficiencies with medium armor or shield. That means light armors only in this specific case. Get your channel energy. Now here is the difference. You get Call Heralds. A Herald Caller can channel stored spell energy into summoning spells that she hasn't prepared ahead of time. She can lose a prepared spell in order to cast any summon monster spell of the same level. That is big. So, you might have 5 Cure Light Wounds queued up, for example, and you could at any point turn any or all of those into summon. It would be, in this case, Summon Monster 1 probably. But with higher level versions as well. So you can maintain the versatility of those primary spells, but if and when you want to use them to summon some basically allies, you can. At 4th level, a Herald Caller receives augmented summoning as a bonus feat. Your summoned creatures are more powerful and robust. Each creature you conjure with any summon spell gains +4 enhancement, again enhancement bonus notice, to strength and constitution for the duration of the spell of that summon. Automatic and free. Great, just superpowers your summons. And finally, at 8th level, a Herald Caller receives superior summoning as a bonus feat. You can summon more creatures. Each time you cast a summoning spell, conjures more than one creature. Add 1 to the total number of creatures summoned. This is huge. Obviously, When you use the spell of the summoning creatures, there's going to be 3 options always. The most powerful version will just summon one of the highest tier current monster. Then I believe it's like 1d3 plus 1 or 1d3, and I think the weakest version monster is like 1d4 plus 1. So any of those will automatically do plus 1. So the highest tier one will just be 1 plus 1, 2. The 1d3 will now be 1d3 plus 1, and that 1d4 plus 1 will be 1d4 plus 2. Obviously, you get way better mileage summoning the most powerful minions in this case. And again, do not forget, you still get all of the benefits of those clerical spells. You don't get less spell selections, anything like that. So you can buff them, you can heal them, and you just automatically get these. So a very cool thematic cleric if you, again, want to basically be the anti-necromancer. So that is the cleric. Now, we're going to move on to the druid. Now, the base druid. Well, some druids might keep their... I'm sure that's base, yeah. Druids might keep the fringe of battle, allowing companions and summoned creatures to fight while they confound foes with the power of nature. Others transform into deadly beasts and savagely wade into combat. Druids worship personifications of elemental forces, natural powers, or nature itself. Typically, this means devotion to nature deity, though druids are just as likely to revere vague spirits, animalistic demigods, or even specific awe-inspiring natural wonders. So that's going to relate to some of the options and limitations here. And I will take a look at kind of the elements that you choose when we look at the druid right now. So what do you get as a base druid? As a base druid, you get a nature bond. At first level, druid form bonds of nature. The bond can take one of 2 forms. You can either get a close tie of the natural world, granting druid one of the following cleric domains: air, animal, earth, fire, plant, water, or weather. When determining the powers and bonus spells granted by domain, the druid's effective cleric level is equal to a druid level. So same as a cleric, basically. A druid that selects this option also receives additional domain spell slots just like a cleric. Now, the second option is to form a close bond with an animal companion. And in this game, just like in Pathfinder Kingmakers, pets are they're awesome, overpowered. They even get their own feats and level up. They are great. So I found that whenever you have the option to get that pet, that tends to be the smarter option. But you can, of course, go to the other domains. Up to you. Druidic proficiencies. So they are proficient with clubs, dagger, darts, quarterstaff, scimitars, scythes, sickles, short spears, sling, spears. Also proficient with all natural attacks, claws, bite, and so forth. Any form they assume with wild shape. Now, druids are proficient with light and medium armor, but are prohibited from wearing metal armor. So they can wear only padded leather or hide armor. They may also wear wooden armor. They've been altered by the Ironwood spell so that it functions as though it were steel. Druids are proficient with shields except tower shields, but must only use wooden ones. Alignment restrictions. So a druid who changes to a prohibited alignment loses all spells or abilities, kind of like paladins that stop being lawful good. She can therefore not level as a druid until she turns to permanent alignment, or permitted alignment. That's important. Spontaneous summoning. As druid can channel stored spell energy into summoning spells that she hasn't prepared ahead of time. She can lose a prepared spell to cast any summon nature ally spell, same level or lower. Detect magic. And then she gets nature sense, so +2 bonus on lore nature checks. That's at first level. Wild shape wolf, so can transform at level 4th into a wolf and back again once a day. Lasts for 1 hour per druid level. That's a very long time. Or until she changes back. Changing form is a standard action and doesn't provoke attack of opportunity. Druid can use this ability an additional time per day at 6th level, every 2 levels until a max of 8 times per day at 18th level. 6th level, a druid can use wild shape to change into a leopard or a small elemental. At 8th, you can turn into a bear or medium elemental. At 10th, into a Smilodon, Shambling Mound, or a large elemental. And at 12th, Druid can wild shape into a huge elemental. That's pretty aggressive process. That's a lot of good shape shifting rather early. For Feyspeaker archetype, all level prerequisites are increased by 2. So that's just noting one of the subclasses we'll look at. And then let's see here, Venom immunity at 9th level, you get immune to all poisons. You get resist nature lore starting level 4th. Druid gains +4 bonus on saving throws against spell-like and supernatural abilities of Fey and plants. Again, here's those shape changing. So leopard, bear, Smilodon, huge elemental, small elemental, all the ones that we just mentioned are noted here. So that's all that is. And then let's take a look at the other options you have to choose. Solo Gnome, Bond. So again, you either choose one of the bonds, one of the domains, and again, they're a little bit more limited, but not bad. And those will, as mentioned earlier in the video, I will be having a separate video on deities and domains. So here, it appears like the druids do not choose a deity, but they may have the option of getting a domain if they choose it, or animal companion. Now let's take a look. This is important. You got a lot of them. Bear. They have all these stats on the right here. If you guys are interested in me doing just a video looking at all the stats of all the animal companions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just do a quick look here. Because they'll have various attacks, various ACs. But Bear, for example, AC 6. Got 3 attacks, different speeds, obviously, and sizes. Boar, dog, elk, giant centipede, horse, leopard, mastodon, monitor lizard, smilodon, wolf. Yep, and those are the options for animal companions. Very, very useful. So let's just say we chose bear. Get your stats, skills, just pick one randomly. And then you're going to have feats, and I don't believe there's anything else unique here. Yeah, so everything else is normal. Okay, so let's go ahead and now go back and look at the subclasses. So next we're going to look at Blight Druid. The devoted servants of nature, corrupted, ruined, and destroyed. Blight Druids are caretakers of land and land ravaged by natural disaster. While some are devoted to reforming and reclaiming land despoiled by ravages of civilization, others seek out more rapacious violence inherent in nature and feed the creeping rot and decay decay that brings an end to all things. Man, that's dark. So, Blight Bond. A Blight Druid may not bond with an animal companion, but may select from the death and destruction domains in addition to those normally available. So that's important. If you want a pet companion, a level 1, not going to happen here. All the normal Druid proficiencies. Alignment restrictions as before. Spontaneous summoning as before. Detect magic. And nature sense. Now, I just realized I do want to really quick mention the alignment restrictions if we take a look here, because I didn't pick it out. My apologies. I'm just going to quickly get to that page so you can kind of take a look. Alignment, it shows you here what you can. Basically, you can be any neutral. So neutral good, neutral chaotic neutral, or neutral evil. None of the other ones, and lawful neutral. If you drop out of any of these, so you go to a lawful evil, lawful good, chaotic evil through your actions, and doesn't happen right away. You'll know it. Your little bar will move. You will lose all your abilities, druidic abilities, and you won't be able to level up in druids anymore. So keep that in mind. Alignment in this game, unlike some other games, is very important. All right. Sorry about the distraction, but I hope that helps. Now back to the Blighted Druid. So again, we get that nature sense. It's the same as the normal druid. You get the wild-shaped wolf. Now, and also the progression, what this is. So this is the same. Leopard, bear, Smilodon, huge elemental. We got the small elemental, medium elemental, large elemental, and shambling mound. And here are the other differences. So you get a level 9 Blight Blooded. At 9th level, a Blight Druid gains immunity to all diseases, including natural and supernatural diseases. Also becomes immune to effects that would cause her to become sickened or nauseated. And then we get Miasma starting at 5th level. If a Blight Druid is adjacent to a creature at the beginning of its turn, the creature must succeed a Fortitude save DC 10 plus half Druid levels plus Druid Wisdom modifier, or become sickened for 1 round. Creature of the animal, fey, or plant type that fails its save is nauseated for 1 round and sickened for 1 minute, which is again 10 rounds. If the creature makes its saves, it's immune to the effect for 24 hours. Alright, and then Plague Bearer at 13th. Any creature that strikes a Blight Druid with a touch attack, unarmed strike, or natural weapon must succeed on a Fortitude save DC 10 plus half of Druid levels, plus Druid Wisdom modifier, or become nauseated for 1 round and contract Bubonic Plague as the contagion spell. Man, if you make the save, you become immune for 24 hours, so you don't want to be touching these guys. Alright, so that's the Blight Druid. Very contagious. Defender of the True World. Some druids specialize in tracking down, diverting, and slaying fey threats. So, you're going to get your Nature Bond, so the choice again, domain or pet. Druid proficiencies. Alignment restrictions is normal. Detect magic. Normal natural sense. Get that wild shape again. Now you get Beguiled immunity. 9th level, a Defender of the True World becomes immune to mind affecting effect of Fey, specifically of Fey. You get Enemy of the Fey. Defender of the True World gains +2 bonus on weapon attacks and damage rolls against Fey. Defender of the True World can channel stored spell energy into summoning spells that she hasn't prepared ahead of time. Cannot summon Nature's Ally to summon Fey creatures because she hates the Fey. She can lose prepared spells of 7th or lower level in order to cast any summon Nature Ally spell of the same level or lower. She can lose a prepared level 8 spell, cast summon Elder Earth Elemental, or lose a 9th prepared level spell to cast summon Elder Worm. So very a difference there. And Feybane starting in 4th level, Defender of the True World, gain +4 bonus on saving throws against the spell-like and supernatural abilities of Fey. Treats her natural attacks as cold iron for the purpose of overcoming damage reduction. Gains a +2 bonus on caster level checks to overcome the spell resistance of Fey creatures. If you haven't figured out anti-Fey, now the first game, Pathfinder Kingmaker, had a ton of Fey in it. I don't know how much the sequel has, so depending on that, your mileage may vary how useful this is. Feyspeaker, 3rd level, Defender of the Creature World Animal Companion, and any creature she summons with the summon's Nature Ally gains +1 morale bonus on attacks and damage rolls against Fey creatures, and it increases +2, +3, +4, as you can see here. So again, this would promote you, push you to want to probably get that pet and summon more, but again, if it's not Fey, you don't get any of these. So very specialized. Next one is Drovier. Droviers view their allies and adventuring companions as herd or pack to be protected and directed. So you're the shepherd, with variations of that theme ranging from culture to culture. So, Druid proficiencies seem to be the same. Alignment restrictions, spontaneous summoning, Animal Companion. So this looks like you are forced to have the Animal Companion, but it sounds like you want to, this build. You get Venom Immunity, a level 9. Then you get Communal Aspect. At 4th level, a Drovier can imbue her allies, including herself, aspect of a wild animal. As a standard action, she chooses an animal totem, grant the abilities of that totem to every ally within 30 feet. This otherwise functions like the spell Animal Aspect. She can use the ability for 10 minutes per druid level each day. That's a long time. Duration does not need to be consecutive, but it must be used in 10-minute increments. If she uses the ability to grant a new aspect, any previous aspect immediately ends. So at a 6th level, gets the benefits of Spell Greater Animal Aspect. At 8th level, Drovier can choose to grant her allies the benefits of the spell aspect of Falcon instead of Animal Aspect. At 10th level, can choose grant her allies benefits of the spell aspect of the Bear instead of Animal Aspect. And 12th level, she can get Stag instead of Animal Aspect. So it just gives you more options. They all have different buffs. Most of them will have like bonuses to Dex or Strength. The different statistics and other potential abilities. Unfortunately, it doesn't show here during character creation, but kind of get the idea. It gives you versatility on how you want to buff your pets and allies. Let's see, what's next? You get Resist Nature's Lure at 4th. Druid gains +4 bonus on saving throws against spell-like and supernatural abilities of Fey and plants. Communal aspects. Yeah, this is what we just went over. It just shows the different aspects you unlock. And then at 20th level, the Drovier can use this ability at will. So then you can just swap it as much as you want, which is really, really nice. Oh, interesting. I don't know if this one mentioned the wolf one. So yeah, it did not mention the level 14 one. So that's good to know. It wasn't listed here, but here it says at 14th level, choose to grant allies the benefit of the spell aspect of the wolf rather than animal aspect. So very much so pet support class. I really like this. We've now seen clerics that support pets, druids. There's a couple others coming up. So very exciting. And then now is the Feyspeaker. Some druids hear the whispers of the natural world like fey creatures do, and learn to mimic those tantalizing murmurs in order to influence the minds of both wild beasts and civilized people. The Feyspeakers are often touched by the Fey some way, such as mortals who dare to eat the food and drink the wine while in the hidden halls of the Fey. So this is important. So these are people that, this is the polar opposite of the defender of the true world. So the buddies of Feyspeakers. Those, vampires in True Blood that went and partied with them, if you guys remember that TV show. Alright, so what do we get here? We get a Nature Bond, so again, choice of pet or domain spells. Normal Druid proficiencies. Normal alignment restrictions. Normal Detect Magic. Nature Sense is normal, +2 lore on natures. Wild Shape option, so you can Wild Shape Wolf at 6. You get Venom Immunity at 9. You will also at 8 get to Wild Shape into a Leopard, Shambling Mound or Bear at 10, and then Huge Elemental or Wild Shape Smilodon at 12. Now, and these are, it says, the Feyspeaker, all prerequisites are increased by 2. So I don't know if this is calculated here or not, because here it says 12th level Druid can use the Wild Shape change to Huge Elemental. This may mean it's 14, and this is a typo. So just do note that. The descriptor says all prerequisites are increased by 2, but it is not shown on this graph, so this may be shifting over. Okay, let's go on. You can still get Resist Nature Lure at 4th, so Druid gains +4 saving throws against spell-like abilities and supernatural abilities of the Fey and plants. And then we get Fey Magic. So at first level, I know it doesn't mention it here, but Feyspeaker allows the strange Adels of Fey to guide the magic. It can use her Charisma score instead of Wisdom score on her key spellcasting ability scores. Interesting. So you might be able to go full-on Charisma, not Wisdom. And then at 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, and 18th level, that's what this is showing. Feyspeaker adds 1 enchantment or illusion spell from the Sorcerer Wizard spell list to her Druid spell list as a spell of 1 level higher. For instance, a 4th level, she could add a color spray as a 2nd level Druid spell. In order to select the spell, she must be of a level high enough, including an increased spell level, to cast it. Once selected, the spell cannot be changed. So basically, it's going to be weaker because you're going to have to use higher level skill slots to get Wizard Sorcerer skills, but you're able to basically cross over and have Sorcerer and Wizard options where you normally would not be able to. So again, highly specialized, lots of flavor, does not like partying with defenders of the true world. So, ladies and gentlemen, mainly gentlemen probably, these are your Druid subclasses. Again, final reminder, if you are interested in those domains, obviously for the clerics, it's going to be deities. I'm going to be having a separate videos for those, so you're going to be able to find that popping up in the video, and also I'll link it at the end of this video. So hopefully you've enjoyed this content. I'm going to see you guys next time. Leeroy from Leeroy Gaming. You guys have a great day.